गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। अनेक जन्म संप्राप्त कर्म बंध विदाहिने आत्मज्ञान प्रदानेन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। चिन्मयं व्यापि यत्सर्वं त्रैलोक्यं सचराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। हरि ओम। ओम नमो भगवते शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। ओम नमो भगवते शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। ओम नमो भगवते शंभु शिवा रुद्र शिवा। शंभु शिवा रुद्र शिवा। ओम नमो भगवते सदा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। सदा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। शिवा शिवा शंभु शिवा। शिवा शिवा शंभु शिवा। शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। भक्त जन भद्र शिवा। भक्त जन भद्र शिवा। सकल दुख छिद्र शिवा। सकल दुख छिद्र शिवा। पंचामृत प्रिया शिवा। पंचामृत प्रिया शिवा। सहस्रधारमय शिवा। सहस्रधारमय शिवा। शिवा शिवा शंभु शिवा। शिवा शिवा शंभु शिवा। शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। शिवा शिवा रुद्र शिवा। बिल्वदलार्चित शिवा। बिल्वदलार्चित शिवा। पंचाक्षरमय शिवा। पंचाक्षरमय शिवा। सर्पमालाभरण शिवा। सर्पमालाभरण शिवा। कपालमालांकृत शिवा। కపాలమాలాంకృత శివ విభూతిధర హర శివ విభూతిధర హర శివ రుద్రాక్షమాలాధర శివ రుద్రాక్షమాలాధర శివ త్రిశూలశూలశూల శివ త్రిశూలశూలశూల శివ లయలీలలీలలీల శివ లయలీలలీలలీల శివ త్రిశూలశూలశూల శివ లయలీలలీలలీల శివ తాండవ నృత్య ప్రియ శివ తాండవ నృత్య ప్రియ శివ సృష్టిలయమయ శివ సృష్టిలయమయ శివ తాండవ నృత్య ప్రియ శివ తాండవ నృత్య ప్రియ శివ సృష్టిలయమయ శివ సృష్టిలయమయ శివ పంచామృత ప్రియ శివ సహస్రధారమయ శివ సహస్రధారమయ శివ బిల్వదళార్చిత శివ పంచాక్షరమయ శివ పంచాక్షరమయ శివ సర్పమాలాభరణ శివ కపాలమాలాంకృత శివ విభూతిధర హర శివ రుద్రాక్షమాలాధర శివ త్రిశూలశూలశూల శివ త్రిశూలశూలశూల శివ లయలీలలీలలీల శివ లయలీలలీలలీల శివ 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 శంభు శివ 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 శంభు శివ 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 రుద్ర శివ 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 శంభు శివ 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 శంభు శివ 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 రుద్ర శివ 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 రుద్ర శివ భక్తజన భద్ర శివ భక్తజన భద్ర శివ సకల దుఃఖ ఛిద్ర శివ సకల దుఃఖ ఛిద్ర శివ ఓం నమో భగవతే శివ శివ రుద్ర శివ 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 శంభు శివ 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 సదా శివ 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 రుద్ర శివ హరి ఓం. At the heart of all of our relationships, there is the presence of an intent. We maintain the relationship and the core reason why we maintain the relationship is the intent. This intent forms the core of our relationship. And the intent is of twofold. One intent is to avoid the painful feelings and responsibility for the feelings. This intent colors the relationship. This intent shapes the relationship. Our behavior in the relationship is influenced by this intent. When our intent is to avoid the painful feelings and the responsibility for the feelings that we are having, we get into controlling behavior. We feel like controlling the other. And the issue is very clear. The intent is clear. I want to avoid the painful feelings. And I want to avoid the responsibility for the feelings that I am undergoing. So I resort to controlling behavior. Whenever the fears in me are activated or triggered, the fear of abandonment by the other, the fear of rejection by the other, it is not an easy thing for us to set it aside. It is a fear. The fear of engulfment, the fear of being controlled. Abandonment, rejection, engulfment and controlled. These are the fears that will be triggered. Whenever these fears are triggered because of the behavior of the other, all these days we have seen how each person behaves because of various feelings inside the heart and mind. When these fears are triggered, please understand this very clearly. Whenever we feel that the other is going to abandon us, reject us, control us, engulf us. When there is engulfment by the other, we lose ourselves. There is a fear. That's why sometimes we are afraid to move closer into relationships. Because there is a fear of engulfment. I may lose myself. Fear of being controlled. So when such fears are activated, triggered, then we immediately resort to controlling behavior. Whether we know or not about this mechanism, but we do these things. When we observe almost all of the people, these will be the common behavioral patterns that will be expressed when the fears are triggered in the individuals. When the fear is triggered, the individual resorts to controlling behavior, and controlling behavior is expressed in these ways. First one, attacking. We tend to attack the other whenever this fear is triggered. Attack. Blame the other. Attack, blame, defend, demand, deny. We deny whatever is being told to us. We demand whatever we want from the other. We defend ourselves. We judge. Yesterday we have seen the standard and judgment. We judge. And whenever we judge, we will be the first person to suffer. And we criticize. We withdraw. We resist. We utter lies. And we resort to manipulative goodness. It is a show of goodness. It is not goodness. It is a show of niceness. We make a show of it. This is a controlling behavior. It is not there naturally. It is a show. These are all connected with controlling behaviors. What is inside it naturally flows when the genuine feelings are flowing through the heart. But this manipulative niceness, the manipulative goodness is something totally different. It is born out of fear. But sometimes the ego wants such a feeding, so people instill fear in others and extract manipulative goodness from others. Very peculiar people. Because the ego is feeding on that fear. Ego wants that. Ego, there is a fear. So, they want manipulative behavior from the others. So they instill the fear and get manipulative goodness. So whenever we see any of these qualities in a person, attack, blame, defend, demand, deny, judge, criticize, withdraw, resist, lie, manipulative, niceness or goodness, this is a controlling behavior which is born out of fear. And any such expression which is born out of fear is going to generate fear in the other person, directly or indirectly. And the other person also will immediately resort to controlling behavior. Controlling the other meaning these things. So, when we try to control, we resorted to attack, blame, demand, deny, defend, etc. Other person also will express the same thing. So then what will happen? Then each one of the persons who is there in the relationship will feel that the other is the cause for these expressions in me. So what do? Now I say the other person is the cause. If I am attacking, you are the cause. If I am blaming, you are the cause. If I am defending, you are the cause. If I am denying, you are the cause. If I am delaying, you are the cause. If I am demanding, you are the cause. Judging, criticizing. If I am telling lies, you are the cause. Very interesting. I am telling lies because of you. Some people say that to serve you I am telling lies. Because you will feel hurt if you know the truth, so I am uttering lies. For your comfort. You are not recognizing me? I am telling lies to you? Very, very peculiar arguments. And when there is such behavior in one person, the other person also immediately resorts to this controlling behavior. When two people are trying to control, there will be more peacelessness, more agony that is experienced by the people. So then they start thinking the relationship is not at all going smoother. One husband told to his friend, "My wife dresses to kill. My wife dresses to kill. She cooks also the same way." Someone said, "I and my wife lived together happily for 20 years. I and my wife lived happily for 20 years, and then we met. So they were very happy, but after they met, the happiness was lost. See, the basic thing here is, whenever we look at our expressions in the course of our relationships, if we have any one of these expressions that we have discussed just now, this means we have to look into ourselves. If we continue to hold the other person responsible for this negative behavior in us, we are not going to feel or experience any change in our lives or in the relationship. So instead of looking outside and continuing to hold other person responsible for our feelings, see, as long as I think, as long as I hold others responsible for my feelings in the heart, in the mind, there will be no change. I will never come out of that feeling. When I take the full responsibility that if these feelings are there in my mind and heart, I am responsible for these things, then alone I can come out of these things, because I try to do something. Only when I try to do something, I can come out of these things. If I don't try to do something, how can I come out of these feelings? So in order to come out of the feelings, I have to try to do something. In order to try to do something, I have to understand that I am responsible for it. If the responsibility is with me, then only I attempted to do something. If the responsibility is with others, if I throw the responsibility upon others, I will want the other person to change. And that will not happen. So this feeling continues. So the relationships become bitter. That is why in relationship, our minds flutter. And there is a lot of litter around. Scolding each other, blaming each other, complaining against each other. So complaining becomes a regular thing. Either we complain to somebody outside or we complain inside our mind. Go on grumbling something inside. That's why there are some people, when they are talking, they mutter something inside and they say something outside. Because inside they are trying to express the bitterness. Outside they tell sweet words. Because sometimes it becomes, that is how one manages oneself to continue to live together. Sometimes it also happens. So, the best way to end the bitterness in relationships is to take up the responsibility and to understand that it can be different. We can express differently. When we understand, what should we understand now? The most common thing which is generally used in our relationships is love. See, one of the intents is to avoid painful feelings, to avoid responsibility for our feelings. Another intent is to know or to learn how to love ourselves and the others and cultivate and entertain a loving behavior. This is another intent at the heart of our relationship. So if our intent is to control, we will act in one manner and there is bitterness. If our intent is to learn how to love ourselves and how to love others, then there will be very pleasing behavior and there will be a lot of comfort in the relationship. Love is absolute. It is unconditional in the highest level. It is said, in the highest level, of love, there is wisdom and awareness. Let us please understand this. Whenever we tell to others that my love is the greatest, these statements we tend to make in order to influence the other person. But actually, in the highest level of love, there is wisdom and awareness. Please understand this. And when we come to the level of awareness, now see, normally we have used this word in so many ways. We have heard about this word at many places in philosophical discussions, awareness, awareness, awareness. But when it comes for discussion in the relationships, its meaning is something different. Awareness. When we come to the levels of awareness, we become compassionate and loving, asking for nothing in return. This is awareness. When we come to the levels of awareness, we become compassionate and loving. And we don't ask anything in return. That is awareness. When we are in awareness, we don't feel like asking anything in return to our expression of love. We don't ask. There is no question of asking. Because awareness itself is so fulfilling, is so complete. In the level of awareness, there is compassion. And this compassion is expressed along with the love. Love and compassion. And when the love and compassion are expressed in awareness, there is no asking for anything. There is no need to ask anything. Whenever we ask for return to our expression of love, that means there is no higher level of love. Number one. First thing. Second thing, there is no wisdom. Third thing, there is no awareness. There is no awareness. Fourth thing, there is no compassion. So, whenever we are asking for something in return, we are preparing our future filled with disappointments. The one who is not aware will be disappointed in future. The one who is not loving will be disappointed in future. The one who is not compassionate will be disappointed in future. So awareness and love are interlinked. In the highest levels of love, there is wisdom and awareness. In wisdom, there is no necessity to ask for anything in return. Because wisdom gives us a totally different understanding. In awareness, there is no need. And in the higher levels of awareness, there is compassion, so there is no need. There is true love, so there is no need. So, whenever we are feeling that the other person is not giving love according to our expectation, this means the problem is not with the person, the actual problem is inside us. How are we going to solve this? There is botheration in us, there is anguish in us, there is agony in us, that the other person is not loving as much as we expected. Number one. Second thing, the other person is resorting to controlling behavior. We love the person, we think we love the person totally, and the other person is resorting to controlling behavior and attacking, blaming, and etc. So there is pain in us. So to avoid the pain, what can we do? What is the possible thing that we have? The best thing that we have with us is, we have to change our thinking and understanding. Otherwise we can't come out of the pain. Any relationship, if we are experiencing pain, either because of lack of the love from the other, or because of the controlling behavior from the other, the sadness continues. The suffering continues. But how can we come out of it? We can come out of it only when we increase the levels of awareness and when we enhance the levels of our love. Two ways. Either we have to increase the levels of awareness or enhance the levels of love. Love at the lowest level creates a particular type of expressions, and love at the highest level creates altogether a different type of expressions. And awareness, of course, it gives very genuine and happiness fetching expressions. So this is a lesson that we have to learn. It looks really tough because it becomes easy for us to hold the other responsible for our discomfort. Easily we can hold the other responsible for our discomfort, and then afterwards we need not do anything. We can get occupied with blaming the other person, and sometimes we can prepare to attack the person. That is how the time passes by, and we get habituated to the pain and suffering, and there will always be people who will attend to our complaints, and they will also keep supporting us because that is their way of controlling us by manipulative niceness, by listening to our complaints. That is their way. So there is no true remedy for this. So life continues like this. 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. We get used to these things. Relationship, this is there, the bitterness will be there, the pain will be there, the struggle will be there, the people are like that, this is like that. So we continue. Accepted, this continues. And there is no real change. So afterwards, relationship means, I don't know why I entered into it, but this is how it is. The relationship is like that. Someone said, we do not actually see what is there, but we see what we are. Whatever we are, we see only that. So, if we are seeing something, and because of seeing something we are experiencing something which is bitter, then where is the necessity to change? Where we should bring about the change? We have to bring about the change within ourselves. And one important thing is, people generally ask, when the other person is showing bitterness, why should I express love? See, expression of love does not mean that we have to proclaim that we are having love. If we express love within our heart, we are very comfortable, we are very happy. Inside our heart we will be very happy. There are people who don't even bother to tell the other person, but they are so happy, love is there. When love is flowing through the heart, it creates joy. There is joy filling the heart, and mind also will be influenced by the joy. So generally people ask, when there is bitterness expressed by the other, so I should also give equal bitterness. That's what I do generally. So, but what is happening because of this? I might feel that I have given tit for tat. I have given good treatment. I can feel that I am successful. But actually what is happening? I am also undergoing the bitterness. That leaves imprints of bitterness, impressions of more bitterness, which I may carry into other relationships also. So temporarily it looks as if there is a relief. If I express, the other person attacked, so I attacked. The other person blamed, I blamed. Other person judged, I super judged. Other person criticized, I criticized more powerfully. Other person defended, I defended more offensively. So this continues. So life can continue like this. But there is a feeling of incompleteness, dissatisfaction, a sort of dislike towards relationships. It is not vairagya, which is born out of wisdom, but it is a repulsion, reactive repulsion. Unsuccessful in relationships. Success in relationship doesn't mean making the other person love us. If we can comfortably love the other person, and if we can comfortably hold ourselves responsible, that is enough. That is success in relationship. Success in relationship doesn't mean that everybody with whom we are related, we need a certificate from them. Yes, you are successful. I am very comfortable with you. I am very happy with you. We can't make anybody and everybody comfortable like that. Impossible. Because even though we are right, even though we are loving, still there will be misunderstanding. Because that is their birthright. They will do it like that. So we can't help anybody like this. So, we have to be sure about loving, because loving enhances the levels of awareness. Definitely. It will give us a lot of joy. Another beautiful thing that is said, why we should entertain love in our heart amidst bitterness expressed by another. See, it is because of karma phalas which are carried from the previous births. We are bound to experience certain reactions and bitterness from our relatives or relationships because of purva karma phalas. It is there. Because of various janmas karma phalas, we are bound to experience certain things. This is clear. Now what happens is, when we are getting our karma phalas in the form of this controlling behavior from others or lack of love in behavior from others, we can exhaust this karma phala. Easily we can exhaust this karma phala. Because there is a reason why they are like that towards us. Our own people, our own close people, or those people whom we think they are close, and those who tried to be close, those who were close. So it is because of karma phala. We can exhaust it. How we can exhaust it? Very nicely, if we have love in our heart. If we don't have love, we are going to create further feelings of hatred and negativity, and this will not end in this birth. That is the thing which you have to understand in relationships. We will be again born to exchange these things. Now think of those tough relationships that you and I have. We are already feeling toughness and we are reacting. The result is we will in next birth again meet in some other permutation and combination. Again there will be same toughness. Because again we have created so many things. So we have to exchange. So this will continue unending. This will go on. This will go on. There is no end for this. Again and again we will be born in different permutations and combination. And again we have to give, take, give, take, give, take. Till we learn the lessons of love, compassion, forgiveness, patience, awareness. Till we learn these lessons, this will continue. There is no coming out. So if we want to really exhaust the karma phala, normally we tell to people, isn't it? Abba, I am fed up with this fellow. We need not name the person, but we have some people like that in our life. At least one or two will be, I am fed up with these people. I don't want any more relationship with such people. So, if this type of attitude is there, we will again get the same people. Definite, that is. Because we are again creating a chain reaction. So the easiest way is, we did not tell the person that we are loving. We can continue to forgive and love inside for our peace, for our happiness. If we can love the person, it is very clearly said that we will exhaust that karma phala with that person finished. We will be fulfilling the debt. The debt is fulfilled because we are not creating any more future chains. We are expressing love, the other person is expressing bitterness, hatred, cheating, lying, whatever it is. We are expressing love inside the heart because we know this game now. This game goes on. We don't want this game. If you want to put an end to this game, inside let us be loving. That's all. Let us wish good for the person and inside loving. So then what happens here when we are like that? The karma phala is eradicated. What a beautiful method. What a beautiful way. Eradicating the karma phala. Coming out of this entanglement. Otherwise we will be constantly taking birth. Different roles. Exchanging the roles sometimes. Sometimes different types of roles. But feelings will be the same. That's why suddenly we find ourselves amidst of people who are very loving and who are very troubling. They will be there always around us. Always people will be there like this. So, we have to understand about love. When there is flow of love in the heart, the debts are being cleared, karmic debts are cleared. Now comes the most important thing. This is a very important practical thing what we have to understand is how do we express this love? Very practical thing. There are two main streams. This is what is the practice, practical thing. Till now it was theory. It will be practical. Two streams of love. See, whenever we were touched by others, whenever there was some transformation in us, now please listen to this. Meeting the other person is one thing, getting transformed by the other person's expression is another thing. It transforms us. We will be living life in one particular way and we are touched by the other, it changes us. We are transformed. We are transformed. The transformation happens only because of love in the heart of that other person. That love need not be directed towards one single person. The heart expresses love, that's all. Let us understand love means this. Normally we understand love means directed towards one person. That is why there is problem. How can I direct love toward that fellow, that monster? No need. You express love. Unidirectional. Multidirectional love. Not one directional. But this is not flirting, huh? This is different. This is unidirectional, multidirectional love. So whenever we understand love to be like this, because it's an energy expressed in all possible directions. So let us understand the two streams of love. Stream number one. That is how anybody, anywhere is transformed. Now please see, these are the things which we might have experienced. This is how we have to be loving. If we say that we are loving unidirectionally, multidirectionally, this is how it is. Simple things for us to understand. That is how we clear the karmic debts. No more karma phalas. These karma phalas, this set of karma phalas, which are shaping this birth, they will be exhausted. They will not create any more karma phalas. The best way to lessen the causes for our bondage and rebirth. A very good way. So stream number one, point number one, kind word. How beautiful it is. A kind word. If we can say a kind word, or whenever somebody told us a kind word, it touched us, it transformed us. A kind word, we remember that. We remember. Kind word, we keep on remembering. It goes on sounding in our ears. A kind word from the other. A genuine kind word. It transforms us. It touches us. It influences us. It will have a great effect on our lives sometimes. This is so beautiful, a kind word. Whenever we listen to harsh words from others, we feel like whose heart is bitter, who is trying to control. It's not possible. So instead, if we become very kind in our heart, just think. So kind word is very important. Second point, a caring action. A caring action. We express our care through the action. We were also touched by such caring actions from the others. We can feel the care of the person. Then it transforms us. It influences us. So if we also have that caring action, that is second point. Third one, sweet gesture. Sweet gesture. We don't forget these sweet gestures from others. There might be very few, one from each person possibly, but still it lingers. It is there, sweet gesture. Fourth one, a helping hand. A helping hand. There is need for the help and we gave our hand in support, in help, a helping hand. A compassionate attitude, next one. The attitude is full of compassion. In spite of the limitations of the other person, a compassionate attitude. Next one, shared joy. We were in joy, we shared our joy, and other person also feels joyous. Think. Mostly we share our miseries, that is okay. But when we share our joy, other person also will enjoy. And that also touches the person. There is a lot of joy for us and we shared that. So these are the few ways by which we can express our love. Kind word, caring action, sweet gesture, helping hand, compassionate attitude, shared joy. This is stream number 1. And both the streams are together. Huh? We can't say we will have only one stream and not another stream. No, it's not possible. Look at the amount of suffering we undergo, the stress, the burden, the pain, the heavy feeling inside the heart because of the relationships, because of the expressions of the people, because of the controlling behaviors, the cheating behaviors. So much of heaviness is there inside our heart. So we also need stream number 2. Once we follow the stream number 2, there will be no more heaviness, no more burden, no more suffering, no more problem, no more pain. But if we follow, even when we understand, understanding itself will give us the feeling, yes, this is the way. This is the way out. We might have heard these words many times. But as stream number 2, in conjunction with stream number 1 of love. So whenever we say love, normally we feel that love means, getting fully involved and then losing ourselves and then again getting lost into it. That is not. That can't be. That is again we will fall either into the category of drainers or self-strainers. Day before yesterday we saw that. And both of them will be suffering in life. So stream number 2 is having a taste of freedom and independence in love. Now come on. Freedom and independence in love. What a beautiful thing this is. Stream number 2. Freedom and independence. We claim about, I want freedom, I don't want oppression, I don't want control, I don't want your bossism, I don't want your suggestion at all, I want freedom, I want independence, I want to be independent. There is a very masterly understanding. Freedom and independence in love. Getting out of the relationship, we can feel freedom and independence. That is a different thing. But in love, being in love, and still feeling freedom and independence. See, if we have freedom, no problem, no worry. Freedom means I can think whatever I want to think. I can do whatever I want to do. That is the freedom. Normally, that's what is the freedom, no? That's what we ask from, I want freedom. I want to do whatever I want to do. I don't want anybody to tell me what I should do. And also I don't want anybody to tell me what I should think, how I should think, how I should behave. That's what is freedom, independence. I assert my freedom and independence. Even when somebody is telling lovingly, for our good also, I am free, that's all. But this is a different understanding of freedom and independence in love. When we can say that we have freedom and independence? Number one, when we have no attachment. When we have no attachment, there is independence, there is freedom. Stream number one will be a success along with stream number two. Point number one in stream number two, no attachment. Major cause of our misery is raga, attachment. And this raga gives rise to controlling behavior, dvesha filled. Point number two. Attachment we know, we have studied here so many times. That's why I am not going into discussion. So many times we have seen raga. Expected sources of pleasure, imagined sources of pleasure, experienced sources of pleasure. Expected sources of pleasure, imagined sources of pleasure, experienced sources of pleasure should be in our control, and they should give pleasure to me according to my demand. That is raga. So if that expected, imagined or experienced source is I, you demand from me, at my beck and call you give me pleasure. Raga. If I don't give, you start controlling. Attacking, blaming, criticizing, judging, defending, demanding, denying, delaying, withdrawing, resisting, lying. All these things. Raga, no attachment. Point number two, no expectation. Hope is okay. We can hope for the better. Hope is very good. We can hope that the person will change. Expectation carries along with it some insistence. That is going to create problem. We can hope, but expectation gone. So no expectation. So what is that? I never thought this person will do like this. I am suffering. I didn't think that this will not happen. I am suffering. So, but what is that I am trying to tell at such occasion is, I am dependent. I have no freedom here. I am a slave. Am I seeing this? Am I seeing that I am a slave at such occasion? When I say, I never thought you will do this to me, I am a slave. I am bound. I have lost my freedom. I have put my independence at stake in the relationship. And then I want to be happy. How can it be? If I lose my freedom, how can I be happy? If I lose my independence, how can I be happy? And then I don't see the inner mechanism of this. I say, you did like this. I am suffering. I never thought you will do like this. I never thought this will happen through you. Expectation. The problem is expectation. We think the problem is other person doing, other person not doing. That is wrong. We can't come out of the relationship like that. We can't come out of the misery, unhappiness, as long as we think like that. The thinking has to be set right. The thinking has to be corrected. I never thought, hey, how did you do like this? Expectation. Other person's behavior is an apparent cause for us to comfortably suffer, that's all. Justify our suffering. But actually, no. Expectation. Stream number two is not followed properly. Expectation. Attachment. Result. Third point. Result. We focus on results. This is how the result should be. This is how the result should happen. In relationship, in love, if we want freedom, if we really want to be in independence, let us not think about result. There is freedom, there is peace, there is joy. And when there is no attention on result, my love flows freely. No expectation, love flows freely. No attachment, love flows freely. And this love, when it is flowing freely with no attachment, no expectation, no result. Fourth point, no opinions. Independence means, freedom means, not having opinions at all. It is a trick of the mind. Mind throws some opinion and afterwards it watches us suffer, bete, suffer. Suffer. I don't know, I think that, I have this opinion on this person. Gaya. हो गई ना बात relationship में? Suffering shuru. How many people suffer like this? Just create an opinion about the other. I think, he is So for time pass, I will call somebody. That fellow also doesn't know how to pass the time. Suffering started. Then afterwards, controlling behavior, blaming behavior, hatred behavior. This is all. And call people and then tell, you hate. I prepare a group, hatred group. And direct hatred, my hatred, and call somebody, condition that brain, and direct that hatred also. Generating hatred in people, what a great seva. Think, there are certain groups like this. All around us, they are there. So, where is the freedom that we are asking for? We think about financial freedom, political freedom, so on and so forth. But this is the real freedom, which can exhaust our karma phalas, which can liberate us. Redemption from the cycle of births and deaths. Liberation. How? Two streams should go together in love. That's all. Love doesn't mean, going to ice cream parlor, buying the ice cream and then forcing the ice cream forcibly inside the mouth and say, how much I love you, you don't know. Other person grasping for breath. We think a passionate expression only is love. But compassionate expression also is love. We are used to passion, not to compassion. That is why we need dispassion to enter into compassion. Somebody said, in railway station, rail stops, train stops. In bus station, bus stops and does nothing. In railway station, train stops and does nothing. In bus station, bus stops and does nothing. And when I go to office, that is my workstation, why should I work? See, office is workstation, so stationary. When things are stationary, that is station. That's all. That's how people continue to work in offices sometimes. And some people promote that because their position on the seat should be stationed. They should also be stationed. So they will entertain these stationary attitudes. So that is how we continue to live and lead our lives sometimes. Mr. and Mrs. Smith were married for 30 years. It's no wonder here, but in other places it's wonder. They simply talk about first wonder, second wonder, third wonder, and biggest wonder is, oh, you're still living together? Oh! Big wonder. They can't understand how you can live. So Mr. and Mrs. Smith were married for 30 years. But their life was full of downs and ups. Many times they were struggling and many times they thought of getting separated and then getting divorced and then getting... But somehow continued. But there was so much of disappointment, fighting, this, that. Then too much of bitterness between the people. They started arguing, fighting. Then in order to avoid all this, Mrs. Smith called her mother. So the mother came and started staying with the daughter. Mother, daughter, together. And Mr. Smith became more sad More sadness, depression, sadness. And finally died. But when he died, the wife got interested in contacting the departed soul. There are a few techniques through which some people contact departed souls. How the person is. Because there might be peacelessness in the mind, not knowing about the person. As long as he was there, I was troubling. No, you should continue to have some trouble, then only I will be in peace, whatever it is. So, then she contacted a medium who can contact this person. There are certain people called as mediums. Media. So, that medium called the soul. So the wife contacted the soul through the medium. And then he responded. The wife asked, "How are you, dear Smith?" And he said, for the first time I am listening to this caring gesture, sweet word from you. How are you? I am feeling great. I am happy. And he said, certainly this place is better than being with you and your mother. Then Mrs. Smith said, "Oh, I am glad that you are in heaven." He said, "Who said I am in heaven? This is hell." He finds a hell better than living with these people. Now think what the relationship must have given to that person. What it must have given. Somebody said, there are only 0.5% of politicians in heaven. Only 0.5% of politicians can go to heaven. Why? Asked the other. The other person said, if more are allowed, that becomes hell. Some people have the capacity to convert even the heaven into hell. Once, in heaven, two people entered at the same time. One is a priest, another one is a stockbroker. Stockbroker, shares and stocks, stockbroker. And surprisingly, the stockbroker was given lot of importance, a royal welcome, beautiful treatment, excellent room for stay, and so many people around, what not, great treatment. And priest was shown one room, and then he was given one map to go around, and then thought. He felt, what is this? And I am a priest, and then how can this happen to me? This fellow is a stockbroker, and how is this treatment? Then he went to the manager in heaven and asked, how is this? I am being given an ordinary treatment, a special treatment. I told about God to so many people. The manager said, see, what this stockbroker did is, he managed to make thousands of people buy highly speculative shares. Highly speculative shares. He made thousands of people buy them. He had the talent to communicate and advertise for shares. Master in that. Highly speculative. Full of speculation. And whenever the prices of these shares plunged down, these people started offering prayers to God many times a day. Many times a day they were offering prayers to God. God. Many times in a day. Whatever might be the method adopted, the end result is he made thousands of people think of God, offer prayer to God many times in a day. And whenever people heard your discourses, the immediate thing they experienced is falling into sleep. There also they forgot God. In God's presence, you gave a discourse and they fell asleep. There also they forgot God. But he never took people to any temple, any meditation hall, anywhere. He did not give any philosophical discourse. But his method was such that many times a day, thousands of people became devotees, offered prayers to God. That is why. So now the best way to make people divine is become a stockbroker. But you have to have the talent to sell highly speculative shares. See, sometimes the speculation creates depressions in life, expectation, speculation. Somebody was analyzing, very interesting analysis this is, analyzing about, maybe from the past history they were analyzing, about what a woman does when she is depressed and what a man does when he is depressed. Wife and husband, for example. So, he said, whenever the wife or the woman gets depressed, what she does is either go out for eating or shopping. Simple things, either go out to eating or shopping to come out of depression. But men invade another country. To cure their depression, they invade countries. Meaning they invade other people. They invade others' freedom. Totally different styles of thinking. So it is very safe to have a depressed woman than a depressed man. It seems, they said, with experience. I don't know about it. So, it is their experience. And somebody said, a good wife always forgives husband when she is at fault. She is at fault, but she forgives husband. अब बोलना भी कुछ नहीं है. Forgive husband में, that means she will never allow her husband to say anything. अब बोलने के लिए कुछ बचा ही नहीं. There was one person who was standing on the cliff of a mountain, top edge of the mountain, and looking into the valley, and then half bent, and then saying, "No, no, no." One policeman was going there for rounds. And then he saw, "No, no." And that was resounding, "No, no, no." And he rushed there. The policeman rushed there and then held him by the collar and said, "No, don't jump, don't jump. Don't commit suicide." He said, "Who said I am committing suicide? I am not committing suicide, I am relaxing." Relaxing? Half bent on the top edge of a mountain cliff, and then you are saying no, no, and you are relaxing? Yes. At my home, I don't have the strength to say no to my wife. So there is a lot of stress. I am a yes man at home, yes husband at home. So I wanted to say no, and I don't want to listen to this no. So this is the best place. No! And no, 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 no. Aha, I feel very relaxed. I said no. And when I go to office, my father-in-law is the boss. There also I can't say no. Father-in-law is the chief managing director. घर में आया तो बीवी, बाहर गया तो मामा, office गया तो. What to do? There also I can't say no. So there also yes, 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 yes. And then I want to say no. Where? This is the place I come. I throw all my stress and strain. And now, no! I relax. I feel relieved. I feel very happy. Each person finds one's own way of relaxing. Is it not? So I think that is the best thing. Instead of saying no to the person straight, the best thing, go to some mountain peak and then there and shout, no, no, no. It's very interesting. But around us, people who surround, they should not push us inside. You say, क्या no, 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 इतना दूर आ गया, अभी क्या no, 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 मैं धक्का दूंगा, चल. See, the person also, nobody can help you at this moment. I don't know what tension you are into. I think you are suffering. I think you are unable to bear. And you came up to this, you decided to jump. Up to this you came, you are not able to jump. Main de dunga, dhakka dega. Ek baar khatam. So see to it that nobody is around. And then comfortably say, no. Otherwise, somebody might think we might have pushed somebody and telling, no, I should not have done that. And all. So, various ways of coming out of the stress or strain or whatever it is. Now see, these are all, whatever solutions we have seen now, these are all solutions at a normal level, whenever we try to live life in a normal level. But always in our life, if we want, there is a higher solution. It comes straight from the above. But only thing is, we don't look at that. We have seen this solution. Stream number 1, we saw stream number. See, if we practice these 2 streams, the total redemption, we will exhaust all the vasanas and karmas and samskaras, karmafalas, all gone. We will become pure. But 2 streams, love stream number 1, that caring action and sweet gesture and then kind word and all that. Along with no expectation, no attachment, no opinion, no result. That is freedom. 2 streams combined, different life. But now, a solution from the above, straight from the above. Now, in our mind, we must have seen all these emotions, isn't it? Hatred we saw, the blaming we saw, this attacking we saw, lying we saw, all these things. Then suffering, sadness, agony, pain, all these things we have experienced. Now we are thinking how to get rid of them and do this, do that. Vedanta gives 1 stroke solution. Only 1 stroke. Baat khatam. Samajh gaye, baat khatam. The stroke is Grahyatvam shirnata sango. Grahyatvam shirnata sango. Bandho bhitischa himsanam. Jadya jadasya dharmasyuhu. Nate santyatma vastuni. Grahyatvam, perceptibility. We perceive things. We perceive good, we perceive bad, we perceive right, we perceive wrong, we perceive senses, objects, we perceive the worldly objects, we perceive the person, perceive the behavior, the perceptibility. Number 1. Number 2, shirnata, decay. Number 3, sangaha, attachment and relationship. Number 4, bandhaha, bondage. Number 5, bhitihi, fear. Number 6, himsanam, injury. We all see this in our relationships. Injury, fear, bondage, attachment, decay, perceptibility. Each one is the cause. Decay, slowly going away, the relationship is not really maintained properly, and then the happiness levels are decaying, and then the relationship loving levels are decaying. Slowly, that also creates lot of unhappiness. Perceptions also create lot of suffering. And attachment, of course. Bondage, certainly. Fear, definitely. Injury, we can't avoid. Suffering, only suffering. All these things are there in my mind. I undergo them, suffer, how to come out of it, how to get rid of it, how to change the people. Anubhuti Prakasha of Vidyaranya Swami says only 1 solution. All these are Jadya jadasya dharmasyuhu nate santyatma vastuni. Finished. All these are inert things. These are all inert. Injury, inert. Fear, inert. Bondage, inert. Attachment, inert. Decay, inert. Perceptibility, inert. All these are inert, jada. And when these things are there, these are the characteristics of a jada vastu. When these things are there, these are the characteristics of a jada vastu. If these things are there in our mind, the mind is a jada vastu. It is inert. How can an inert thing create this? Inert thing has no potential to create injury, to undergo injury, to inflict injury. To undergo fear, to inflict fear. To get into bondage, to create bondage. To be in attachment, to throw in attachment. To get into decay, or to create decay. Or effects of perceptibility, or perception. These are all inert things. Wherever they are there, these are the characteristics of inert thing. And what is that which is having all these things? Our mind. The mind is jada. And you are not jada. Finished. Whenever you say, I am injured, the injury is jada, it belongs to mind jada. I am in fear, fear is jada, it belongs to the mind which is jada. I am in attachment, attachment is jada, it is there in the mind, mind is jada. Inert thing. Why do you say that I am attached? Mind is attached, mind is jada. You are not the mind, you are not inert, you are consciousness. You are not inert. Suffering, inert. Hatred, inert. All these things that we undergo. And so I am having heavy life, suffering life, because of my partner, because of my friend, because of my relationship. This is going on. How to come out of it? How long it would be? When will we get moksha? When will we come out of it? Who is the whole way? Who will show the way? Swami Vidyaranyaji is showing us the way. Anubhuti Prakasa is showing us the way. One stroke, finish. Understand, it is inert. The mind as a whole is inert. You enliven the mind. You illumine the mind. You give the touch of consciousness to the mind. And then mind comes out with all these packages. And then you say, I am suffering. I am like this. I am like that. Oh, when is the moksha? Where I have to go? How will I come out of it? I can't tolerate this. Understand, you don't have these things. In fact, when you say, I have these things, you are bluffing. The I, which you refer to yourself as I, is wrong. You are saying you are the mind, so you identify with the mind and say, I am the mind, so I have this. When I am the mind, characteristics of the mind become the characteristics of I. So I am injured, I have injury, I am influenced by perception, I have attachment, I have bondage, I have fear, I have injury, and I suffer all these things. Who is that who is suffering? Mind. You are not the mind. इतने सालों का कहानी, इतने जन्मों का ड्रामा. Since births we have been in the drama. I am this, I am that, this world is like that, people are like that, situations are like that, planets are like that, Prabhutva is like that, government is like that, wife is like that, husband is like that, son is like that. Every birth like that. Only one understanding. The whole drama ends. You carried yourself as your mind. All these births, you are not the mind. One understanding. Just because we don't have this understanding, how much of suffering in our lives. One understanding. This is the truth. This is the reality. We are not Jada. We are Chaitanya. To assert this, Vidyaranya says in Anubhuti Prakasha, Vijnanamiti Chaitanyam Na kriyanapi tatphalam Nakarakam na cha bhavaha Kriyadeh kintu bhasakam Vijnanamiti Chaitanyam Na kriyanapi tatphalam Nakarakam na cha bhavaha Kriyadeh kintu bhasakam Vijnanam iti chaitanyam. Vijnana is consciousness and na kriya. It is not an activity. All our suffering, all our botheration, all our experiences are connected with activity. Activity is connected with mind. Mind is jada. Mind is enlivened because of consciousness, touch of the consciousness. You are not jada. You are consciousness. That is Vijnanam. And in consciousness, there is no activity. There is no activity at all. When there is no activity, where is the question of suffering? Where is suffering? It is not kriya. And it is not na api tat phalam. It is not even the fruit of activity. Consciousness is not the fruit of activity. So when it is itself is not the fruit of activity, how can the fruits of anything else remain in the consciousness? We talk so much about karma phala, this phala, that phala, which janma, what phala. No phala can remain in consciousness. That's all. No phala can affect consciousness, influence consciousness. And consciousness by itself is not a product of any activity. So there is no bondage for it, there is no limitation for it. Anything that is a product of activity has a limitation. Anything that is born out of some doing has limitation. Consciousness is unlimited, limitless, infinite, because it is not born out of any activity. Nakarakam. It does not become a cause for anything. Nacha abhavaha. Nacha abhavaha. Nor it is a non-existent entity. But kriyade kintu bhasakam. It illumines everything in this universe. It touches and makes everything come alive in this universe. It manifests everything in this universe. Everything in this universe is manifested because of this. It doesn't create anything. It only touches everything. It illumines everything. It touches the Maya, it touches the mind, it touches the intellect, it touches the ego, it touches the chitta, it touches the object, it touches, that's all. When it touches, things will start coming alive. And then they start taking control of us, that's all. It illumines. It manifests everything. Everything comes into manifestation only because of consciousness. And you are that consciousness. And in that consciousness, which is limitless, there is nothing but joy. There is no dukkha. That is being said in the next sloka, in Anubhuti Prakasha. Nirdhuta sesha dukkhaugha hetutvat sukhameva tat adhaisha paramanando yo vai bhumeti shastrataha. It is bliss. It is known as bliss. It is called as bliss. It is understood as bliss. It is bliss. What is that? Nirdhuta sesha dukkhaugha. What is that? This means there is removal of avidya. Avidya is termed here as the aggregate of all miseries. All miseries, the aggregate of all miseries is avidya. And this avidya is entirely removed. There is no avidya in pure consciousness. This avidya is entirely removed. So avidya is aggregate of all miseries. When avidya is removed, all miseries are removed. No avidya, no miseries. And when there is no avidya, what is there is infinite bliss. Scripture also says the same thing. That which is infinite is bliss. Avidya creates limitation. Avidya creates bondage. Avidya creates a feeling that there are limiting adjuncts and you belong to them, they belong to you. You are that. You are the upadhi. That is the feeling created by avidya. And then all the miseries. All the miseries are in avidya, connected with avidya. It's aggregate of all the miseries. Avidya gone, no misery. Avidya gone, no limitation. Avidya gone, consciousness alone remains. Avidya gone, bliss alone shines. And thou art that. You and I belong to that level of consciousness where there is no avidya and where there is no misery. But now we find ourselves here. We have to go deep into this inquiry of our own true nature, which is consciousness. Go deep into that consciousness. Think more about it. Reflect more on it. Meditate on it. Contemplate upon it. And get established in the levels of consciousness as consciousness. So all the problems, just think, use this as a contemplation next time. Suppose there is some problem, some misery, somebody behaved something, so much of tension, fear and all that. All these things, jada. The nature of these things is jada. And wherever they are there, they are the characteristics of jada. So if I feel these things are there in my mind, it's jada. But what am I? I am not the mind. I am vijnanam. I am consciousness. No bondage. There is no effort here. No attachment. Abba, I have to put effort. No expectation. Oh, I have to put effort. No need. इसलिए बोलते वेदांता में कुछ करना ही नहीं है. वेरी कंफर्टेबल पाथ. लेकिन उसके अंदर जाने के लिए बहुत कुछ करना पड़ता. उतना ही. What is there? You have to understand that you are consciousness. That's all. There is no doing there. It's just being. You are consciousness. That's all. It's all jada. Everything other than consciousness is inert. It is jada. Mind is jada. You are not the mind. Next time when you see fear, misery, sadness, suffering, you just see at them. Hey jada. Oh, you are jada. You are inert. And wherever you are, that is inert. And I am not inert. I am consciousness. Just one thought connected like this will distance the suffering from us, misery from us, tension, pain, everything will become different. That's all. I am different. I just see them. I am the seer. They are the seen. The seen never touches the seer. The seer need not try to come out of any bondage. There is no bondage for the seer. All that bondage is in the jada. As long as jada, as long as we are thinking that we are jada, we will be suffering these things. So in this seat of meditation and contemplation, if we focus on these beautiful scriptural injunctions, we will get into that real freedom and total love. Harihi Om. Om.